Brenner, the deep man for Dayton. Coming off a defeat at Butler a week ago. The Flyers 1-1 in the PFL. Marist 2-1 after their victory in Florida over the Stetson Hatters. We are underway in the Hudson Valley. A nice hole for Brenner as he sets up Dayton with good field position over the 35 down to the 37-yard line. That is where Shane Ham will go to work. First career start for Ham, a 5'11", 203-pound redshirt freshman from North Jackson, Ohio. He is on, Steve, in relief of Dante Cassiola, who suffered a broken thumb last week at Butler.
Yes, Ham, you know it's his first collegiate start. He has to be feeling some jitters, but talking to Rick Chamberlain on Thursday, Jeff, we had an opportunity to do that, and he really likes his ability to make plays outside of the pocket.
Ham had the final series in that Butler game last week. He went 2 of 7 through the air, made some things happen with his legs. Here he hands the ball off to Jake Chisholm. That's always a winning strategy as Chisholm gains 3 behind his left tackle, Connor Muck.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Chisholm in our open. He has just been terrific throughout his career at Dayton. He was second in the FCS last year in total yards per game at 163. He's going to be the bell cow this afternoon.
And it's not just on the ground with Chisholm, it's also through the air. He is Dayton's leading receiver. Does a little bit of everything. Marist defensive coordinator Scott Rumsey saying he anticipates Chisholm's going to get 30 touches in this game. He just don't know how he's going to get them. Pass over the middle is complete. It's brought in by Kyle Hazel, a yard shy of the first down. So a 3rd and manageable for the Dayton Flyers. That is the way that Rick Chamberlain likes to operate his offense. Keep everything in front of you. Keep gaining positive yardage.
That's a nice job by Ham. A quick 3-step drop. Football was out of his hands quickly there to Hazel. As you mentioned, Jeff, 3rd and short now for the Flyers.
Dayton's been good in 3rd down situations this season, 38%. 3-3-5 stack defensively for the Red Foxes. Chisholm right up the gut. He's got a 1st down and more into Marist territory. Dragged down by Tyler Rusher at the opponent 45.
That's just a great job by Chisholm. Looked like Marist was going to get him down right at the point of attack, but that low base, he's so strong in between the tackles, gained 5 on that carry. 1st down, Dayton.
It's been the story of Chisholm's career, right? It's not an imposing physical presence, 5'9", 191 pounds, but very, very difficult to put on the turf. That's Luke Brenner in motion. It's Chisholm, nice hole up the gut as Chisholm bounces off tacklers down to the 39-yard line.
Again, the 2nd and 3rd effort there by Chisholm. He is so good and such a physical runner. Gained 6 yards there on 1st down, 2nd down 4 for the Flyers.
Three receivers to the left for Dayton: Joey Swanson, Luke Brenner. Out there with Kyle Hazel. That's Chisholm flying out to the left. The pass over the middle, complete between the hash marks. Catch made by Luke Brenner. And Dayton's got another 1st down as they march closer to the red zone.
Yeah, nice job there by Brenner coming back to the ball. And again, the football is out of Ham's hands very, very quickly. Another 1st down for Dayton.
Now Ham will go under center. And the officials are having some problem with the chain, the 1st down marker. I think the chain got tangled up there with the down indicator and the line of scrimmage indicator, so the officials had to bring a halt to the proceedings, and now Dayton is ready to snap the football. Bunch formation. It's Chisholm again. Tries to counter his way inside, but has very little room to operate. Aaron Acosta wraps him up and makes the tackle.
Nice job there by Acosta. A negligible gain there on 1st down. Chisholm gained about 2 yards. It's going to be 2nd down and 8 now for Dayton.
Flyers here in their first possession, Steve, have kept the playbook very manageable for their first-time starter, Shane Ham.
Yes, Shane Ham, hey, he's done some good things early on. Again, the football is out quickly, and they're going to rely heavily on Chisholm.
Hazel in motion. Ham tries to step up and run it. He's got the 30-yard line, a flag down on the far side of the field. First time we will hear from our referee this afternoon, Rob Sabati.
Illegal shift. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So an illegal shift on the Flyers. That'll knock them behind the chains for the first time.
Yeah, it'll be second down now and just over 12 yards to go for Dayton on the Marist 36-yard line.
It's been a very deliberately paced drive for the Flyers to get us going today. This game's just over 4 minutes old. Ham on the run, looking for the corner. He turns his way to the 20-yard line. A first down take for Shane Ham. Rick Chamberlain telling us, Steve, sometimes he can be a little helter-skelter in the pocket. There he was jumping around looking for a receiving option, right? Nothing there. He said, all right, I'll swing this thing out to the left and get a first down myself.
That's a great individual effort by Ham. He showed some wheels down the sideline. First down, Dayton.
The Flyers are on the march, looking to start a new shutout streak. They were blanked for the first time in 502 games last week. The counter to Chisholm, good for 4 more yards. Mike Arrington on the tackle. That's a name we expect to call a lot today.
Yeah, Arrington has been all over the field all season long. And you see Chisholm again, that's a very patient run. Looked like Marist had him hemmed in, but he ends up gaining 4 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 5 now inside the red zone for the Flyers.
Yeah, not only is Chisholm a known quantity at tailback, Dayton with a lot of continuity on their offensive line. They get Dylan DeMazon back this week, the sophomore center. He didn't play last week at Butler with injury. Brian Stevens at left guard, first team PFL in the preseason. He's a team captain. A lot of experience in that unit as Chisholm tries to bounce it out to the right. Doesn't have much room there. Tackle made by Tyler Rusher.
That's a nice job there by Tyler Rusher. It's going to be 3rd down and 2 for Dayton.
Derek Willits into the game, split wide to the left.
Go defense!
Chisholm moved over to the right side of Ham. Quarterback keeps it. Teddy Wright puts him on the turf, and it'll come down to the spot, right with pursuit from behind. And it will be awfully close as to whether or not Ham fell forward for enough. They mark him short, and it's decision time for Rick Chamberlain.
That's just a great job in pursuit there by Teddy Wright. Made the tackle. Dayton will go for it on 4th down and 1.
They have one of the best kickers in the PFL, but Sam Webster stays on the sidelines. Two tight ends set. The hand to Chisholm. Teddy Wright flies in. No gain for Chisholm, and the Flyers turn it over on down.
What a great play by Teddy Wright there. He shot the gap. No gain for Chisholm. The Foxes take over on downs. Here it is again on the replay. You see Teddy Wright. Just a great form tackle there by Wright. It'll be Marist football.
There's a Flyer shaken up. That's redshirt freshman Connor Clyde, their top reserve on the offensive line. You see Clyde immediately indicating that he has a knee injury. So as the Dayton athletic training staff goes to work, we will step aside. 8:07 to go in the opening quarter. Flyers nothing. Marist getting the football for the first time when we come back on ESPN 3. A 4th down stop by 6th-year Teddy Wright gets the football back with the Marist Red Foxes and keeps this game scoreless. Now Brock Bogozzi to work, 6'2", 206-pound sophomore from Solvay, New York, to the air on first down, where he finds his top target, Brett Landis, out near the 20-yard line.
Yeah, nice job there by Bogozzi. Again, the football's out quickly. We've talked about his arm strength all year long. Nice start for Boghosi.
That was Landis, team leading 23rd catch of the season. Career start 7 for Boghosi on the season, completing 57% of his passes, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Amin Woods with his first carry of the game. Perricone throws him a block, and Woods into the open field where he tumbles to a stop over the 30 to the 32-yard line. First down, Red Foxes.
It was a great block by Perricone. Again, you see Woods with that really good speed when he gets into the second level. First down, Foxes.
Ryan Andrews making the start at center for the Red Foxes in place of Jake Anapole. Anapole had to be taken off the field on a stretcher last week, suffering an apparent head and neck injury. Great news to report. Jake Anapole was quickly released from the hospital. He is with the team on the sidelines. He's been on campus all week. He will not play in this game, but that is good news about the Marist Center.
Oh, just wonderful news. Very scary situation late in the game at Stetson, but really wonderful news that Jake is progressing nicely.
So the redshirt freshman Andrews steps into that spot. He and Anapole were rotating at center throughout the season. That's something that offensive coordinator and line coach Jake Dembow really likes. Wants to get guys reps when they earn them. Here's Woods with a hole up the middle. Fights his way over the 40 down to the 41-yard line. Pick up a 5 for Amin Woods.
Nice run inside the tackles there by Woods. He has really a great low center of gravity. He's a very strong runner. Fell forward there, third and manageable now for Marist.
Woods, such a great compliment to Glenmore Leonard Osborne, who we haven't yet seen today. Osborne has the sprinter speed. On Amin Woods, real difficult back to bring down. Dayton puts him on the turf here, but not before he gains the yardage needed to pick up a first down. Ben Schmeezing around the tackle, as was Gerald Lewis.
Just enough there. Woods was able to fall forward to get the first down for Marist to keep this drive alive.
Red Fox offense got off to a sluggish start in non-league play. It was difficult to put points on the board against Georgetown and Columbia, but once the league schedule began, team settled into a rhythm. Here's Glenmore Leonard Osborne for the first time, fighting his way down to the 46-yard line, a short gain for the redshirt senior from Ardsley, New York.
It's quite a 1-2 punch. You alluded to that in our open, Jeff, with Woods and Leonard Osborne. Both have really good speed, but specifically Leonard Osborne, he has really world-class speed, especially when he breaks into the second and third levels.
He's Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference track and field champion in the 100 meters, the 200 meters. Rewritten the record books in that sport. Boghosi from the gun, gives it to Leonard Osborne. He's looking for some space, shoestringed to a stop by Joey Guagenti. If Guagenti didn't get Osborne by the ankles, he may have been gone.
Oh, I think he would have been gone. Guagenti there, that was a really nice play in space. We're going to take a second look at it here. Here's Leonard Osborne, nice cut there, and oh yeah, he would have been gone. That was a really nice play there by Dayton.
3rd and 1 for the Red Foxes. Marist 35% on third downs. Dayton showing blitz from their 4-2. Leonard Osborne hit behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a half yard, and now it's Jim Parady's turn to make a decision.
No gain there. He did lose about a half yard.
Drew Robertson getting the push from the interior of the Dayton line, and Marist will punt it away. Dom Donahue in to kick. Sam Bubonics waits at his own 10-yard line. Donahue this year averaging just over 36 yards per punt. He's playing the field position game here. Kicks high in the air, over the head of Bubonics, towards the goal line where it takes a Dayton bounce, and that's a touchback.
That's a really great kick. Unfortunately, Donahue was not able to kill it inside the 5-yard line. It'll be Dayton football when we return, Jeff.
So both teams come up empty on their opening possession. 3:26 to go in the first quarter. We're still without a score here at Tenney Stadium.
comprised of 11 member institutions.
Working together to represent the voices of all student athletes
at the campus, conference, and national levels.
Though our mascots and colors may be different,
our mission brings us together in unity.
We aim to protect and promote student-athlete well-being,
create inclusive environments for all,
give back to the surrounding community through service,
and represent the needs of the student-athletes outside of athletics.
Together, we make an impact.
Together, we are.
Together, we are.
Together, we are. MaxStack.
Shane Ham of the Dayton Flyers to work for their second series. Ham, as mentioned, is making his first career start. Last year as a freshman was named the Scout Team's Offensive Player of the Year. Jake Chisholm has been the man who Ham has given the football to more often than not.
Yeah, we're going to see his number called, talking about Chisholm, all afternoon long.
Ham gives it to Chisholm once again. Aaron Acosta's there for the cutback. It's a short gain for Jake Chisholm.
Yeah, it's a nice tackle there by Aaron Acosta. Chisholm still gains 4 yards. It'll be second down and 6 for the Flyers.
As we all learn together what kind of player Shane Ham is, a guy who's thrown just 7 passes in his career prior to this afternoon. You look back at his high school stats where he was a winner at Archbishop Holben in Ohio. Team went 50-3 with Ham as a starter. Holben, one of the top programs in the state of Ohio. Here's Sam Bubonics out in the flat. Arrington drags down Bubonics after a short gain. 3rd and 3 coming up.
What a great play by Arrington out in space there. Really good coverage. Made a nice tackle on Bubonics. It'll be 3rd down and short now for the Flyers.
Marist defense trying to force a 3 and out. 4 wide receivers out there. Ham rolls off of Arrington, runs it up the gut, has a first down. Arrington had Ham dead to rights, but he bounced off the hit, and Shane Ham moves the sticks.
Boy, that was a great play by Ham. It looked like Arrington had him and was going to sack him. Here it is again on the replay, but Ham was very elusive, and then just a great effort there to get the first down for Dayton to keep the drive alive.
Heck of an effort by the redshirt freshman. Here's Chisholm on the counter to the right. Keeps it between the hash marks and adds 5 yards to his total.
Again, Chisholm, he is so physical. The Foxes, again, right at the point of attack, thought they were going to have him for maybe a yard or 2, but he is so strong with that low center of gravity. Another 5-yard gain, 2nd down and 5 for the Flyers.
Chisholm, Dayton's all-time leader in all-purpose yardage. Ready for this, Steve? 4,749 yards coming into the game this afternoon.
Yeah, again, he has just dominated the PFL, and we talked about his prowess out of the backfield, too. He can catch the football with the best of them as well.
Bunch formation, quick hitter. Bubonics pulls in the high throw, and Dayton's got another first down as they move it near midfield.
Boy, Ham has been really impressive in his first start. He's getting the football out quickly. Nice reception there by Bubonics. First down, Dayton.
Well, they're keeping it pretty simple for him, right? Give the ball to Chisholm, and when they do go downfield, he's just been asked to make 5-8 yard-ish throws.
Right.
And Dayton has moved the football effectively. It's a designed run for Ham. And he'll pick up nice yardage up the middle.
Ham does a nice job on that designed quarterback draw. Gained 5 yards. A second down and 5 now for Dayton.
An expedient opening quarter has come to its conclusion. We've got 15 minutes in the books. Marist and Dayton scoreless, but the Flyers are driving at Tenney Stadium in Poughkeepsie. On the Marist College sideline, the athletic training staff surrounding fifth-year senior linebacker Mike Arrington, who suffered an apparent left arm injury when he misfired trying to sack quarterback Shane Ham earlier on this drive. Arrington, who last week, had a season high 11 tackles at Stetson, is one of 5 defensive captains for Marist, someone that they can ill afford to have on the sideline.
Yeah, hopefully it's nothing serious as Chisholm gets another first down on that carry, gained about 7 yards for the Flyers. Dayton's in business now on the Marist 39-yard line.
Arthur Pinckney stepping up to make the tackle. Linebacker is a part of the Marist defense where they have plenty of depth. Angelo Vokalos has played well. Tyler Rusher as well. David Torres, who missed a couple of games, returned to the lineup last week at Stetson. He is out there in the linebacking core as well. Ham under center, off play action on 1st and 10. Looking deep for the first time. The ball is underthrown, but his receiver comes back to it, makes the catch, and takes it into the end zone for the Dayton touchdown. Luke Brenner opens the scoring.
And nice job by Brenner. He did come back for the ball. It was underthrown by about 5 yards, but Brenner came up with it. We're going to take a second look at it here. Here's nice play action fake there by Ham. And it's kind of a jump ball there, and Brenner does a great job. 6-0, Dayton pending this PAT.
It's the first receiving touchdown of the year for the sophomore Luke Brenner. Webster's point after is good, and the Flyers strike first. 7-0 Dayton, just like that, a 39-yard strike to begin the second quarter.
Yeah, really good play action fake there by Ham, but it was underthrown, but Brenner just didn't take his eye off it, came back to the ball, and really made a great catch in traffic, Jeff.
The 39-yard completion, the longest of Shane Ham's career, and it is the first time that he's tossed a touchdown pass as a collegian. How about the start for Shane Ham? 5 of 5 through the air for 64 yards. He's added another 29 on the ground, averaging 7.3 yards per carry.
Hey, you just couldn't ask for much more from Ham. Again, his first collegiate start. He's gotten it done through the air, and you see how elusive he is, especially when he gets outside of the pocket, Jeff. He has very, very good speed.
Michael Denning will kick off for the Dayton Flyers. Glenmore Leonard Osborne on the far hash marks. He's the man with speed to burn. Clay Fields on the near hash. He had a couple of long touchdowns a week ago at Stetson. 89-yard punt return, 70-yard interception return. Pick your poison with the Marist kick return team. Dayton says, we'll let Clay Fields take it. He's got it at the 6-yard line. Looking for some blocking. Fields gets down to the 22-yard line. That is where Brock Bagosi and the Marist offense will look for a response.
See if Marist can get going. They stalled at about the midfield area. Jim Parity elected to play field position on the 4th and about 1.5. See if they respond now after that long touchdown pass by the Flyers.
Marist operating with Bagosi in the pistol, Wyatt McMahon in the backfield along with Amin Woods. Not a lot of room to run for Woods on the right side, maybe a yard for the redshirt sophomore from Cornwall.
Nice job by the defensive line there of the Flyers. Not much there for Woods. Gained about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 now for the Foxes.
Yeah, Rick Chamberlain talking to us about his defensive line on Thursday, said that they don't really fit the mold from past years, but they're playing very hard. They found a way to get it done, and they're doing it in a way that's somewhat unorthodox for Dayton. Four receiving options for Bagosi. It's a running play with Woods, and he is stacked up in the backfield. No gain for Amin Woods. The tackle made by Nathan Arthur. Another one of those defensive linemen who've been getting it done for Dayton.
That's a great play by Arthur. Just nothing there. No gain there on 2nd down for Amin Woods. 3rd and long now. 3rd and 8 for Marist.
Bagosi finds Stianchi at the 25-yard line. He is stuck by Ben Schmeezing, Dayton's leading tackler, their leader defensively, with an open field hit to bring up 4th down.
Yeah, Schmeezing there was just a great tackle there on Stianchi. Here it is again on the replay, crossing pattern there by Stianchi and Schmeezing. That is a form tackle. He is one of the best in the PFL.
So Marist goes 3 and out after the Dayton touchdown. Donahue on to punt to Bubonics. High spiraling kick will hit out of bounds, and Dayton will have great field position. They walk it off all the way to the 45-yard line. A short field for Shane Hamm and the Flyers, leading by 7, 3 minutes into the 2nd quarter.
The MACSAC Social Justice Committee.
We aim to increase awareness and acceptance for everyone,
regardless of race, sexual orientation, religion, or gender.
Using our platforms to make change.
And becoming involved for the betterment of our campuses, teams, and greater community.
Social justice means being a player on and off the field.
Social justice means thinking of the world much bigger than you.
We challenge you to continue to engage in reformative policy and to promote equity and inclusion for the long haul.
Rewind selector.
Basketball fans, the 2022 MAC ASUN Challenge is heading to Dublin, Ireland. 2 men's teams and 2 women's teams from each conference will face off inside the National Basketball Arena on November 18th and 19th. Are you ready for some Irish hospitality? For fan packages, go to caragrouptravel.com today.
You've seen us on the court, and now, for the first time,
how about we do a timeout for a great true story?
You see us spread the greatness of African American culture by reading books for you that will make you laugh, cry, sing, and learn. Basketball players and coaches support Black culture and social justice by reading diverse books in an entertaining and engaging way for all kids. So make a timeout and go to www.timeoutforblacklives.com today, a MAC initiative.
Marist still without Mike Arrington defensively. Angelo Vokalos, Tyler Rusher, and Justin Iaccio are the three linebackers wearing red as Dayton looks to grow a 7-point lead. Shane Ham under center. He feeds Jake Chisholm, and Chisholm is shoestring down by Iaccio after a gain of 3.
Nice job there by Iaccio. Right at the point of attack, Chisholm was able to gain about 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. And now for the Flyers.
That's what Dayton's done all game long. They have just chipped away on offense. And Shane Ham yet to be rattled.
Oh, he's shown a lot of poise thus far. As you mentioned, Jeff, he's 5 for 5 for 64 yards to start this game.
Ham is a player that Jim Parity and the Red Foxes recruited hard out of the state of Ohio. That pass is juggled and dropped by Kyle Hazel. He had it in the mitts. It was linebackers coach and Ohio native Mike Kajafis responsible for recruiting Ham.
Take another look at here at that 2nd down play. Ham again getting it out quickly. Just really good coverage there by Harley.
3rd and 7. Asked Coach Kajafis what stood out to you about Ham when you were recruiting him out of Archbishop Holben, and he said, Shane Ham wins football games. He's made winning plays so far this afternoon. He'll be asked to make another here. To the sky, the pass is caught, but it is short of the line to gain. Brenner comes up 2 yards shy, and it looks like Dayton will bring on the punt team.
That was a great catch by Brenner. We're taking another look. It's just a great hit there by Teddy Wright. But looks like Dayton is going to elect to punt here on 4th and short on the Marist 47.
Drew Neiman is on to punt. Neiman, senior from Cincinnati, averaging 37 yards per punt. Marist sends Clay Fields back deep to return. Fox is keeping most of their defense on the field. They're anticipating perhaps a fake. Instead, the end-over-end punt is taken by Fields. He'll try to split 2 defenders on the return and end up tackled around the 14-yard line. So Fields picks up a few yards after receiving the punt. But Marist has a long field, looking to equalize with their first score. Dayton 7, Marist nothing, just over. Good to see Ibrahim Giwa back in the lineup for the Red Foxes, wearing number 72, the left tackle from Clarksburg, Maryland. Could not finish the Stetson game last week as he was dehydrated in the 90-degree heat. So Marist had to dig deep into their rotation, brought in Chris Leonardo at tackle at the key point in the 4th quarter. Leonardo performed well, but having Giwa out there, the 6'4", 298-pound left tackle, is a big boost to the offensive line.
Oh, no question about it. Having Giwa back out there is big for the Foxes. Woods lost 2 on that 1st down play. It'll be 2nd down and 12 now for the Foxes.
Bogosi's pass brought in by Landis. He makes the first man miss and then steps out of bounds. They mark him out right at the 19-yard line. Now they'll give him the 20. Pickup of about 7. Moving back to the 19. So indeed it was the 19 where he stepped out. That makes it 3rd and 6.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd and 6. Landis again does a nice job. He's a really good route runner. He has been Bogosi's #1 target this season.
Coming off a career-high 7 receptions a week ago at Stetson, good for 72 yards. Bogosi's pass to Landis at the 25-yard line. That is right at the line to gain. And it gives Marist a fresh set of downs. A tight window for Bogosi, but he found his top target.
Hey, that's that arm strength once again by Bogosi. That was a very, very small window to fit that ball in, and it was a really nice reception there in traffic by Landis.
Here's Amin Woods. Off some contact behind the line of scrimmage. She'll get back to the line. No gain for Woods.
Boy, this defensive line of Dayton has really been stout thus far. Not much on the ground so far for the Foxes.
Rick Chamberlain telling us that he wants to make sure that his team controls the line of scrimmage. It was a question mark whether his defensive line group will be able to do that earlier this season, but they have stepped up. They're playing a good half of football here in Poughkeepsie. Just about midway through the second quarter. Bogosi's pass is batted down. Drew Robertson getting a hand on it. And now it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that's a nice job by Robertson. Max Mazzella on the crossing route, he was open. That was really a nice defensive play there by Dayton. It'll be 3rd and long now, 3rd and 10 for Marist.
Landis the catch, but he had to come back to the football. He's short of the mark to gain by 1.5 yards. And that means Jim Parity will send on Donahue to punt.
Yeah, he did have to come back to the ball. Unfortunately, he is just almost right at 1.5 yards, and Foxes don't have a choice here. They've got to punt the ball away here with 7:20 remaining in the first half.
Takes a Marist bounce, out of bounds around the 30-yard line. Good kick by Donahue as Shane Ham goes back to work. He proved on the last drive that he's human, although then again, maybe he didn't, as he put a pass right in the chest of Kyle Hazel that he could not hang on to. Ham 6 of 7 for 69 yards through the sky, an additional 29 yards on the ground. It's been a great debut for the redshirt freshman quarterback.
Oh, it really has been. He's been really good throwing the football. He can tuck it too. Again, he can make plays outside of the pocket.
Good to see Mike Arrington back in the field for the Red Foxes. Brenner in motion. Handoff to Chisholm. A big hole up the middle. Chisholm into the second level. Clay Fields gets him around the waist at the 39-yard line. A 9-yard pickup for the senior Chisholm.
Again, Chisholm is so good in between the tackles. 9 yards on first down, 2nd down 1. There is an injury on the field.
The offensive lineman Jackson Ward is shaken up. As the athletic trainers go to work, we'll step aside. 6:48 left in the second quarter. Take another look as Ward just gets rolled up on there. Dayton's offensive line depth tested here in the first half. Both Ward and Connor Clyde have left the game with injury. No gain for Chisholm on 2nd and short. It's now 3rd and 1.
Nice job once again there. That's Teddy Wright. No gain there for Chisholm. 3rd and short now for the Flyers.
It's already Chisholm's 13th carry. Ham keeps it. Ham lowers his shoulder, and he has first down yardage. He went low on Clay Fields and picked up the first himself.
Yeah, on the RPO there, that's just a great job by Ham. We're going to take another look at it here. RPO, and this is just an individual effort there. Just a nice cutback there by Ham. First down Flyers.
And a crucial block there by tight end Cade Beam. You saw him wearing number 20. Beam didn't put a big hit on Cam Ball, but did just enough to give Ham the space that he needed. Chisholm up the middle on 1st and 10. No gain for Chisholm. Arthur Pinckney flying in to get him. Cam Ball was up there as well.
Nice job there by Arthur Pinckney. We haven't said that very often. No gain for Chisholm, but nice tackle there by Arthur Pinckney. 2nd down and 10 for the Flyers.
This has been the game plan for Dayton. Chisholm first. Short, manageable passes for Ham. They've taken exactly one shot, and it led to a 39-yard touchdown hauled in by Luke Brenner. Bunch formation on 2nd and 10. Over the middle, pass complete to Joey Swanson into the Marist half of midfield. 9-yard gain for Swanson as the sophomore from Grayslake, Illinois, makes his first catch of the afternoon.
Nice job there by Swanson. It was a little low, but he was able to make a nice reception. Now it'll be 3rd and short, 3rd and 1 now for Dayton.
Flyers huddling up, a relic of a bygone era. The snap's taken by Chisholm himself, and he charges forward for a first down.
Yeah, the Wildcat formation there. They snapped it right to Chisholm. He needed 1. He got 2. First down, Dayton. Take a second look at it here. The Wildcat, again, he has a full head of steam there. Gain 2 to keep this drive alive for the Flyers.
Now it's back to Ham to receive the snap. Play action. Pass complete down to the 40-yard line. That's Luke Brenner again. Brenner took a hard hit from Isaiah Smith. 6-yard pickup.
That's a nice job by Brenner. That was pretty good coverage by Smith. But once again, Ham delivers the ball right on time. They're on first down for a 6-yard gain.
And he's looked poised and composed in his first career start. Quick hitter. That's Swanson at the 35. Shoved out of bounds by Tahir Harley at the 29-yard line. Another Dayton first down.
Again, the ball is out quick there by Ham. That was a dart on the sideline. Really a nice throw. First down. Dayton, they're now on the Marist 29-yard line.
Willits in motion. Chisholm counters back to the right. Short gain before Clay Fields ends the play. The counter running game, Steve, so effective for the Flyers.
It is. It's a great counter running game. And Chisholm, he is just a great cutback runner. Physical runner, but a great cutback runner. That was a great play, too, by Fields there. In space, a negligible gain there on first down. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Dayton.
Dayton starting to roll up a big lead in the time of possession. Pressure coming, and Ham is sacked for a 1-yard loss. Couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage as he is swarmed by Red Foxes.
That's a great, great play there. Really nice job by Marist in coverage. And you see Mike Arrington there with the sack for the Foxes.
Good to see Arrington back on the field healthy. Nick Jackson and Aaron Acosta down on the line with some push to collapse the pocket. And now Ham faces 3rd and 10. Pass is tipped. Miles Cowderer got a paw on it. And we'll see what Rick Chamberlain elects to do. His kicker's got a huge leg. But this is the area of the field where you can think about going for it, but no, they're gonna let Webster try one. Sam Webster, a senior from Richfield, Ohio, 7 of 9 on the season. His long 42 yards, career long 53. We were watching him in warm-up, Steve. He can boom him in from 60.
Oh, he has a great, great leg. This is going to be from 47 yards.
The lefty to grow Dayton's lead. Line drive kick, and it comes up well short of the bar. So Webster doesn't have the distance, and Marist takes over the football, trailing by 7.
That's a nice hold there by the Marist defense. The Foxes have a full complement of timeouts now. They have 1:02 remaining with 3 timeouts.
And they get the football to begin the 3rd quarter. So Marist with a shot and one of the great momentum swings in the game. They move the ball well on their opening possession, Steve, but since then it really sputtered.
They have sputtered. This Dayton defense really has been impressive. The Foxes just with 66 total yards.
Dayton rushing 4. Bogosi's pass is caught on the far boundary by Stianchi, but he dropped it. Couldn't hold it in going to the ground. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Boy, that was a really good throw by Bogosi. Stianchi would like to have that one back. That hit him on the 1 and the 9. He should have brought that one in. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Foxes.
Will Downs on the near numbers. He's a speedster. Trevor Sterry, part of the trips to the right. Brendan Lambana out there as well. Pressure up the middle. The pass incomplete. Intended for Downs. And now 3rd and 10.
Yeah, there was a lot of pressure there on Bogosi. Just overthrew it a little bit. Downs was open, but Bogosi was under immense pressure. Big play now. 3rd down and 10 now with 50 seconds remaining in the 2nd quarter.
Bogosi's pressured. And the pass incomplete, but flags are out. Joey Guagenti got there early. That'll keep the drive alive.
That's going to be an easy call to make. Guagenti was just all over the intended receiver. That'll be pass interference and a 1st down for the Foxes.
It is Rob Sabati that will give us the particulars.
Pass interference. Defense number 6. That penalty's declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
That's a gain of 18 to Marist 1st down. 1st and 10, Marist 47.
Oh, Marist declines the penalty because Downs came up with the catch. It was hard to see on the sideline there.
Yeah, we were blocked out there. He did come up with it. 1st down, Marist.
It was an 18-yard reception. That's better than a 15-yard penalty. And now Bogosi goes right back to Downs into Dayton territory.
Yeah, nice job by Bogosi getting the ball out quickly. And again, that arm strength to Downs. Gained 4 on 1st down. It'll be 2nd down and 6 now for Marist.
Downs and Sterry stacked up near side. Bogosi looking for Stianchi, but the pass comes in high. Elijah Smith there in coverage for Dayton.
Yeah, Stianchi wanted a flag there. It may have been a little quick there on that coverage, but it was high. It'll be 3rd down now and 6 for Marist, just on the 49-yard line, just inside there of Dayton's territory.
Marist still has all 3 of their timeouts. 32 seconds before the half. Mazzella in motion. Bogosi finds him. And Mazzella has a 1st down to the 38-yard line.
Nice job there by the tight end, Mazzella. And right on time there by Bogosi. 1st down, Foxes.
1st and 10, Dayton 38.
Marist is approaching Luke Palladino's field goal range. He's proven true from 49 yards in his collegiate career. It's Mazzella in motion again. Pass goes over the middle. It's caught by Downs at the 35, and Marist will use their 1st time out.
a nice reception there by Downs in traffic. Marist burns their first timeout. 18 seconds remaining in the first half.
Steve, this has been a very composed drive for Marist.
It really has. Bogosi's done a nice job. He's been under duress, too. He's made some really good throws. It's been a methodical drive by the Foxes. They're just outside of Luke Palladino's field goal range, but again, they've got 18 seconds and they still have 2 timeouts remaining. Plenty of time to get into his range.
Luke Palladino's 49-yard field goal came against Stetson on this field back in 2019. Last year, he hit a 45-yarder at Dayton, so the Flyers know the kind of leg that Palladino has. If you dig through YouTube archives, you can find clips of Palladino when he was at Penfield High School outside of Rochester hitting from 58 yards. Now, granted, that was without a defense, but it gives you an idea of the kind of leg that Luke Palladino has. We'll see if he's pressed into duty here at the end of the second quarter.
Yeah, Jeff, you're right. He's been a great, great weapon. Been very, very consistent for the Foxes this season.
Marist might still take a shot. They got Downs and Lombana at the top of the formation. Sterry and Stianchi on the near side. Bogosi with a deep drop. They move the pocket. Bogosi loads up. He's looking end zone. The pass is intercepted. Picked off in the end zone by Joey Guagenti.
That was really a great interception there. Bogosi did a good job flushing outside of the pocket. He was flushed outside of the pocket, but just a great interception there. Be a touchback. 7 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
Marist takes their shot, and they get burned. Guagenti with the pick. The redshirt freshman from Columbus, Ohio, with his first career interception. Dayton gives it to Chisholm. Chisholm is swarmed, and the first half has come to a close. Dayton 7, Marist nothing. That's the score through 30 minutes here in Poughkeepsie. We'll take a look around the Pioneer Football League as we go to the half here on ESPN 3. The Dayton Flyers lead the Marist Red Foxes 7-0 in the 1970s. He is still Dayton's all-time leading tackler. And then he was an assistant coach before taking over the head job 14 seasons ago. He has been part of, Steve, 388 of Dayton's 688 all-time wins.
Yeah, that's just really an amazing stat. As you mentioned, Jeff, he was a great player. He was an All-American linebacker at Dayton and an assistant coach for 28 years. Before he got his opportunity as a head coach, and he has just done a tremendous job.
When we talked to him on Thursday, he was beaming with pride of the culture that he was able to build, made sure to give credit to his predecessors, names like Rick Carter and Mike Kelly, as the people that really built the culture at Dayton that he has just been stewarding for the last 14 years as head coach and been a part of for the last 47. Marist opens the second half with Glenmore Leonard Osborne searching for the corner. Another tackle by Guagenti as he continues his career afternoon, bringing Leonard Osborne to a stop after a gain of 4.
At Guagenti, he has been all over the field today. Gain of 3 there from Leonard Osborne, 2nd and 7 for the Foxes.
Marist yet to get Glenn in space, showcase his blazing speed. Trying to bounce it to the outside. Works off one tackler, but Schmiesing is right there to end the play. A negligible gain, maybe a yard for Leonard Osborne.
Yeah, this becomes a big play now for Marist on 3rd down. It's going to be 3rd down and 7. No gain there for Leonard Osborne.
Four receivers, Max Mazzella and Brett Landis on the short side. Lombana and Scherzer up top. Amin Woods in at tailback. Bogozzi steps up, trying to avoid the rush, but he's wrapped up and sacked. Joe Durham the first to hit him, and that allowed his friends to come in to finish the play. Gerald Lewis putting him on the turf.
That's a nice job there by Lewis, but you just can't say enough about the Dayton secondary. There was nobody open down the field, so Bogozzi had to take the sack. 4th down now for the Foxes.
Flyers force a 3-and-out. Donahue to punt to Bubonics. Short kick. Bubonics steps up, takes it at the 47-yard line, and is promptly tackled there by the long snapper, Iaccio. So a short field for the Dayton Flyers. They have a 1-touchdown lead.
Yeah, really good field position here for Dayton after that short punt by Donahue. They're going to have it at their own 47-yard line, 1st and 10.
Shane Ham back to work in his first career start. 9 of 11 through the air for 95 yards and the 39-yard touchdown strike. That's the game's only score. The half starts with Jake Chisholm looking for some running room, but he has nowhere to go. Wrapped up by Mike Arrington after a gain of 2.
Not much there, just a great tackle there by Arrington. 2nd down and 8 now for the Flyers.
Arrington had to miss a couple series in the first half, suffering an apparent left arm injury. Dayton operating with 2 tight ends. Play clock winds to single digits. And now it's Chisholm up the gut. 4 yards there for Jake Chisholm as he barrels his way forward.
Yeah,
Nick Jackson there for the tackle.
Yeah, that was all Chisholm. It didn't look like there was going to be anything there, but he's able to, on his second effort there, gain about 4 yards. It's going to be 3rd and a long 4 now for Dayton.
That was Chisholm's 20th carry of the afternoon. Marist trying to return the favor and force a 3-and-out of their own. Foxes go with 4 down linemen. Ham's in trouble. He lost the football. Ham fumbled it. It looked like Dayton fell on it, but that'll bring up 4th and long.
Really?
Aaron Acosta had Ham under duress, and he lost the football.
See it again on the replay. Just great pressure by Acosta, but Dayton was able to fall on it and get it back. It'll be 4th down now and 12 for Dayton.
Acosta forced Ham into Miles Cowderer, who knocked it loose. And that brings Neiman on to punt. High kick. They'll send Clay Fields toward the far boundary. It takes a Marist bounce and is out of bounds around the 18-yard line. So the Marist defense answers the call after Dayton forces a 3-and-out. They return the favor. 10:38 to go in the 3rd quarter. 7-0 Flyers, Marist on offense when we come back.
Of 11 member institutions.
Working together to represent the voices of all student athletes.
At the campus, conference, and national levels.
Though our mascots and colors may be different,
our mission brings us together in unity.
We aim to protect and promote student-athlete well-being.
Create inclusive environments for all.
Give back to the surrounding community through service.
And represent the needs of the student-athletes outside of athletics.
Together, we make an impact.
Together, we are.
Together, we are.
Together, we are.
MaxStack.
Great to see Jake Anapole on the Marist sideline. The sophomore center had to be stretchered off the field in DeLand, Florida at Stetson a week ago after he took a hit to the back of the head. He was brought to a local hospital. Scans were clear. He was quickly released, able to fly back to the Hudson Valley on Sunday morning and is with the team on the sideline. Steve, it was a very scary moment in the Sunshine State a week ago. Wonderful to see Anapole here with his teammates.
Oh, it is, Jeff. Just so great to see him here. It was a scary situation, but he is on the mend.
Amin Woods is brought down at the point of attack. Sam Shattuck, part of the interior defensive line for the Dayton Flyers, as that unit continues its strong play today.
Oh, the defensive line of Dayton has really been impressive. Just not much on the ground all game long up to this point.
Marist facing a 3rd and 4. Trying to avoid going 3 and out for the second time in as many drives here in the 3rd quarter. Bogozzi steps up, runs into his own offensive lineman and dropped the football. The ball is loose at the 20-yard line. Dayton says they have it. And the Flyers recover the fumble. Nathan Arthur grabbing the loose ball.
See, Bogozzi tried to step up in the pocket, but put the ball on the ground. Just really a big turnover there at this time and place of the game. 9:19 remaining. Now Dayton has it deep in Marist territory. 1st down and 10 on Marist 20-yard line.
The graduate student Joe Durham, an engineering major, engineering a short field for the Dayton Flyers as he forces the fumble recovered by Arthur. They'll give it to Brenner on the end around, and Brenner is out to the 12-yard line. Nice gain, as they'll use Luke Brenner, Steve, in a multitude of ways. He had a 63-yard rushing touchdown at Robert Morris to open the season. He's got a 39-yard touchdown already this afternoon. Brenner's got the Flyers knocking on the door.
He does. That was a really nice play there on 1st down. 8-yard gain by Brenner. 2nd and short now for the Flyers.
This is typically Chisholm territory. Jake will stretch it right. Flag is out as Chisholm has the corner. He got it into the end zone, but the penalty marker will bring it back.
Yeah, that's in the area of holding. That's that's what the call is. That'll march Dayton back 10 yards.
That's reserve tackle Colin Konecki. And the holding penalty negates the touchdown. Second and 10 from the Red Fox 20. 12 personnel for the Flyers with a tight end each way. Willits and Swanson, the wide receivers, out left. Hammond to run it. Miles Cowderer gets to him. No gain for the quarterback, Ham.
That is a great play in pursuit by Cowderer. Not much there on 2nd down. It's going to be no gain on the play. It's going to be 3rd and 10 now at the Marist 20.
Dayton with 4 wide. Ham's pass tipped up in the air. Cowderer for the 2nd time, batting it to the turf. And that brings up 4th down.
That's another great play by Cowderer there. We're going to take a second look at it here. Boy, he has been relentless all afternoon long. You see it getting that left hand up to bat that pass down.
A 38-yard field goal attempt for Sam Webster. He misfired from 47 earlier. This one well within his range. Good hold. The kick is up. The kick is good. Webster grows Dayton's advantage to 10. But Steve, with that field position, Marist has to be happy to hold them to a field goal.
Oh, very happy. The Marist College defense there stiffens and just gives up 3 points. Hey, it's just 7:42 remaining, just a 10-point game. But the Foxes need to get it going offensively. This Dayton defense has really been good all afternoon long.
Just 103 yards of total offense for the Red Foxes. Throughout the season, Marist has found some sparks on special teams. They've got a couple of dynamic playmakers deep. Leonard Osborne, far hash. Clayfield's near side. Denning has kept it away from Leonard Osborne thus far, and will do so again, keeping it away from everyone by booting it out the back of the end zone. A pretty steady wind has started blowing. It is at the back of the Dayton Flyers right now, and that'll likely create some challenges in the passing game as Marist tries to operate into the fan here at the midway point of the third quarter.
And Marist has made a change at quarterback. Diego Arroyo in the game now for the Foxes.
So Bogozzi out after going 11 of 16 for 75 yards. The interception at the end of the second quarter, and then the fumble as he bumped into the back of his own offensive lineman on the last drive. We'll see what Diego Arroyo can do, the redshirt freshman from Vero Beach, Florida. Arroyo off play action, finds Will Downs at the 35-yard line. Downs breaks free of a tackle, gets upfield to the 40, little hesitation to the 45. A big gain for Will Downs, 22 yards to move the sticks.
Nice job there by Will Downs coming back to the ball there, was able to juke the defender. First down Foxes. Nice throw there by Arroyo on his first pass attempt.
Arroyo's seen plenty of action this season, 15 of 33, 198 yards, a touchdown and 3 interceptions. Arroyo at Stetson last week had his first career passing touchdown, a 14-yard strike to Max Mazzella. Part of a day in which he went 6 of 11 for 69 yards through the air. Play action again. Downs on the near side, has it at the Dayton 45. He makes a man miss. 40, stutter step to the 35, all the way down to the 34-yard line. Same play the other way. Back-to-back first downs for the Foxes.
Just another great throw by Arroyo, and Downs once again yards after the catch. A couple of impressive throws there by Arroyo.
Jim Parody telling us yesterday, I don't know if I'm going to rotate quarterbacks in this game, but if I feel like the offense might need a spark, I won't hesitate to go to Arroyo. And Diego is providing that spark here in the third quarter. Marist in Dayton territory, high snap. They'll give it to Devin Thompson, and Thompson's got a lane to the right. Over the 30 down to the 28-yard line. That football came loose. It's a live ball on the far boundary. Did it ever find its way out of bounds? I mean, that ball rolled a good 10 yards away from where it was dropped. Both teams are signaling that they have possession.
I think Marist did retain possession. Yeah, it was a live ball on the sideline. Looked like Max Mazzella was able to dive on it for the Foxes. We're going to take another look at it here. It was a high snap. And you see, after the tackle was made here, yeah, the ball is out, and then it ends up on the sideline, and Max Mazzella was able to recover it for the Foxes.
Well, that's a break for Marist after Thompson put it on the turf. No gain on the run to the left as, again, Marist works with the redshirt freshman from Baltimore. So Max Mazzella, Johnny on the spot, as Marist narrowly avoids their third turnover in their last 4 drives. We approach the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. Marist has entered the red zone for the first time. Arroyo with 2 receivers each way. That's Lombana in motion. They pitch it to him. Looking for some blocking on the edge. Flags out as Lombana stumbles out of bounds after a 6-yard gain. We'll await the penalty.
I think that's usually in the area of holding. The officials are getting together now. It's on the other side of the field. We didn't have a really good view of it. It is, in fact, holding on the Foxes.
Yeah, they got the tight end Mazzella, who was part of the crew, looking to get Lombana the edge. And just as soon as Marist enters the red zone, they move right out of it. Offense working into a wind. Forecast didn't call for these gusts, but it is real breezy here now.
Yeah, it has picked up in the last 20 minutes or so, no question about it.
Arroyo in the pistol. And there was some miscommunication there with his intended receiver, Stianchi.
Yeah, they were not on the same page. Stianchi was going deep on the fly pattern into the end zone. They weren't together on that play.
Marist deep behind the chains. 3rd and 17. Trips left. Arroyo runs it up the middle, and he's got the 25 to the 24-yard line. Maybe a yard or 2 there for Arroyo. And here comes Luke Palladino for a field goal with a high degree of difficulty, the way this wind is swirling in his face.
Yeah, the wind, again, it has picked up. This is going to be a tough attempt. It'll be from 42 yards against this very stiff wind.
Palladino's season-long 45, his career-long 49. Into the wind, the kick is up, and the kick is no good. Dayton might have got a fingertip on it because that one barely got to the end zone. Palladino comes up well short, and Marist remains without a point. 10-0 Dayton. Flyers have the football, 3:50 to go in the third quarter.
We're back at Tenney Stadium. You see here Cole Hildebrand, the redshirt freshman. He does, in fact, get his hand on that field goal attempt. No good for the Foxes. They come away empty on that last drive, Jeff.
Dayton remains up 10 as they give it to Chisholm. And Chisholm looking for some running room, but Marist has him bottled up. Jake Chisholm loses 2 yards, and now the Flyers are behind the sticks.
That's great pursuit once again by Teddy Wright. A loss of 2 there on that carry by Chisholm. 2nd and 12 for the Flyers.
Chisholm had some nice runs in the first quarter. Marist has made the adjustment. Chisholm now averaging just 3.3 yards per carry. With Dayton up by 2 scores, ride your workhorse. See what they do on 2nd and long. They'll go to Chisholm in the passing game, and that one's off the mark. Cam Ball. I don't know if he was going for the football or to put a hit on Chisholm. Either way, the pass incomplete with Ball bearing down on the play.
Again, that was good pressure on Ham. He needed to get rid of that football far sooner than he would have liked. 3rd down now, 3rd and long 11 for the Flyers.
Marist defense trying to pick up the offense that moved the ball well with Diego Arroyo at quarterback before the drive sputtered out in the red zone. Ham, pass, incomplete. The intended target was Joey Swanson. The pass was not where it needed to be as the Flyers go 3 and out.
3 and out, really good coverage there in the secondary by Smith. Be 4th and 11 now for Dayton.
Wind at the back of the punter Neiman. Clay Fields is deep in his own territory, back at the Marist 26-yard line. Last week, Fields broke one, an 89-yard punt return touchdown at Stetson. Will he get a crack at one here? Low tumbler, hits at the 35-yard line and is downed at that spot.
Yeah, not a very good punt there by Dayton. The Foxes are going to have pretty good field position. They're going to have it at their own 35-yard line with 2:52 remaining in the third quarter.
And they are sticking with Diego Arroyo at quarterback. Arroyo with a couple of 22-yard completions to Will Downs. Got the Red Foxes moving before an untimely holding penalty brought the drive to a screeching halt. What can Arroyo do for an encore? Play action. That's Landis making the catch. One-on-one tackle made by Joey Guagenti. Gain of about 7 there for Landis as he brings in his 5th catch of the ball game.
You know, Arroyo, Jeff, that was another ball right on time. He has really delivered the football accurately since he's been in the game.
Yeah, the book on Arroyo is he sees the field well, he gets rid of the ball quickly. He's had some problems with turnovers in limited action. Play action once more. Over the middle, the pass is incomplete, nearly brought in by Landis on the dive. But he couldn't get it going to ground, and now Marist faces 3rd and 3.
Yeah, it was a little low. Landis, you know, had to lay out for it. We're going to take a second look at it here, a little RPO action, and you see it on his hand. It would have been a difficult reception. 3rd down now and 3 for Marist.
Arroyo recognized the one-on-one coverage with Elijah Smith. Just didn't deliver the ball exactly where he wanted it. Lysick in motion. Marist hands it to Glenmore Leonard Osborne, and he is stuffed. Jack Wardzala blowing up the play. Leonard Osborne loses 4, and Marist to left to punt.
Yeah, just nothing there for Leonard Osborne. It's going to be 4th down now and 7 for Marist. Just nowhere to go there for Leonard Osborne. The Foxes have to punt it. Back to Dayton once again.
Wardzala came through untouched. Leonard Osborne never had a chance. Donahue just gets it off. Bubonics makes the fair catch at the 25-yard line. And the Marist defense, Steve, has largely done their job in this game. Dayton's first touchdown came on a 39-yard strike. Since then, the defense really held the Flyers on their half of midfield. The field goal came on a drive that started after Marist fumbled the football back in their own 25-yard line. Really to hold the Flyers to a field goal. There was a win for the defense. They'll be asked to step up once more.
They have, both defenses have played very, very well all afternoon long.
Empty backfield. Ham dancing around. Looking for a running lane. Gets a block from Brenner, and he's out of bounds after a pickup of 4.
Really great coverage there in the secondary by the Foxes. Ham went through his progressions. No one was open. Downfield, had to tuck it and run. Gained 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for the Flyers.
Ham gives it to Chisholm. A big hole up the middle as he's over the 35 to the 37-yard line. Teddy Wright with another tackle. Dayton has a 1st down.
Nice job there by Chisholm in between the tackles. A physical run. Got the 1st down for Dayton.
This could be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Play action. Pass incomplete. A lot of zip on it, but led Joey Swanson too far over the middle. Dayton substituting in 12 personnel. Beam and Keithley are the tight ends. Time winding down in the third quarter. Last opportunity for Dayton with the wind at their back. Looking deep, nothing open. And all Ham can do is throw the football away. I think they wanted to go deep to Brenner, who was in one-on-one coverage with Clay Fields.
They did, Jeff. Good call. It's really great coverage in the Marist secondary. And once again, Miles Cowder, he has been all over the field. Really good pressure on Ham on that pass attempt.
3rd and 10. Trips left. Cowderer puts the pressure on. Ham steps up, dumps it down, and this pass is complete. Found Chisholm into Marist territory. First time they've gotten Chisholm involved in the passing game. It's a big play, but it's going to go for naught. Holding penalty. They had to hold Cowderer to keep him off Ham, and that negates the 13-yard gain.
Again, Cowderer has just been relentless all game long. Had to hold him there. That'll back Dayton up 10 yards. Be 3rd and long now with 18 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
The clock is winding. Dayton does not have to snap the football here before we go to the 4th. They will not snap the football before we go to the 4th. Last week, Dayton shut out for the first time in 502 games. 7 days later, they're trying to shut out the opposition. The Flyers have held the Foxes without a point through 45 minutes of football. We go to the 4th, Dayton on top 10-0 here in Poughkeepsie. The leaves are changing here in the Mid-Hudson Valley as we turn to the 4th quarter on the banks of the Hudson River. Dayton 10, Marist nothing. Steve, there are few finer settings for college football than the Mid-Hudson Valley in mid-October.
It's just beautiful. The trees are changing. Got a tight game here. 10-0 starting the 4th quarter.
3rd and 20. Dayton into the wind. Pressure right up the middle. Acosta got to Ham. Finished off by Mike Arrington as the Red Foxes force the punt.
Just great pressure there initially by Acosta. Arrington right there on the play as well. 4th down now for the Flyers.
Acosta just bullying his way past left tackle Connor Muck. Ham never had a chance, and that's a lot of hidden yardage as Marist anticipates great field position. The punt into the wind, a good one. Fields lets it bounce at the 49. It takes a huge Marist hop, and they will start on the Dayton half at the 45. Diego Arroyo coming out for his 3rd series at the control of the offense.
Yeah, the Foxes really need to take advantage of this excellent field position here to start the 4th quarter. 4:14 remaining, and Diego Arroyo has done some good things in his when he's been in there the last few series, but the Foxes need to take advantage of this really, really good field position.
Arroyo, quick hitter to the far boundary. It's caught at the 39-yard line. Short gain for Will Downs, who's got a new career high with 6 receptions. Red Fox shaken up. That's Max Mazzella, the talented tight end. Looks like he might have caught a cramp there. Stretching out his left leg.
Hopefully that's all it is. Mazzella has really played well as of late, and it looks like they're stretching out that left leg and hopefully it's just a cramp. Mazzella is back up now.
We'll take a break. Dayton leading 10-0, but Marist driving. They're already in enemy territory here on ESPN 3. Diego Arroyo trying to lead the Marist Red Foxes to their first score. Marist down by 10 with 13:50 and counting to go in the fourth quarter. 2nd and 7. Arroyo gives it to Amin Woods. Good blocking for Woods. Gets him into the second level down to the 37-yard line. About 2 yards shy of the mark to gain. And it's 3rd down.
Nice cut by Woods on about the 41-yard line. It's able to fall forwards. 3rd down and manageable now for the Foxes. 3rd and just over 2 yards.
Dayton comes with the blitz. Play action. Arroyo taking a shot, and he overthrew his intended target. Now Arroyo's helmet popped off at the end of the play. There are no flags on the field, as Arroyo had to unload it quickly and now has to come out for a snap. So on 4th and 2, Arroyo has to come out, bringing Bugosi back into the game. Marist is going for it. They have wind at the back of the offense, but that would still mean this kick is out of Palladino's range. So Bugosi is in on 4th and 2, a critical snap. Bugosi's pass is tipped and incomplete. Elijah Smith makes the play in coverage, and Marist turns it over on downs.
Yeah, got to hand it to the Dayton defense. That was really, really good coverage. And Bugosi, tried to force it in there. He had Woods open in the flat, but he just didn't see him there. He was really locked on the receiver there. Foxes turn it over on downs.
And Steve, that's a tough situation for Bugosi coming in after Arroyo's helmet popped off. That was the 3rd series in which Arroyo was out there in place of Bugosi. That wasn't necessarily the quarterback rotation, but a quarterback switch that occurred here in the second half. Dayton goes to their change of pace back, Michael Neal. No gain for Neal. Arrington in around the tackle again, along with Nick Jackson, Miles Cowderer, Aaron Acosta. Boy, the Marist defensive line has played a wonderful ball game this afternoon.
Oh, they really have. They've kept Chisholm in check really most of the afternoon. You just cannot say enough about this Marist defense.
It's still Neal on the right hip of Ham. Now he'll go in motion. Marist comes with the blitz. Quick hitter caught by Willits near side. 5-yard pickup for Derek Willits, the senior from Centerville, Ohio. His first catch of the game. It's 3rd and 5.
That's a nice reception there by Willits. He had to go down and get it. It'll be 3rd down now. 3rd down and 5. Obviously a big, big play here at this juncture of the game. 12 minutes and running in the 4th quarter.
Dayton continues to deploy Neal at tailback. No Chisholm on the field. Bubonics in motion. It's a bunch formation. Pass caught by Willits. It'll be close. They've got him marked at the line to gain. And now one official says he got enough. The other, not as certain. The line judge near side who has the call says, yes, indeed, that's a 1st down as Dayton moves the chains.
Oh, that was a really good spot for Dayton. That looked like it was behind the line to gain by about a half a yard, but it's 1st down Dayton.
So he has all game long. Ham given a manageable pass to throw, and he completed it. 1st down, Dayton. It's their 12th 1st down. Here comes Neal looking for the corner. Cam Ball denies him that. 1-yard loss. Have another look at that 3rd down completion to Willits. Did he get enough? A critical call. They needed the 47-yard line.
That was really close, Jeff. I thought it was at least a half a yard short, but they got the call. It's 2nd and 11 now for Dayton.
Bubonic's in motion. They fake it to him. Acosta's all over Ham, chasing him down from the backside, and then Pinckney forces him to throw it away. So Acosta not fooled by the fake to Bubonic's in motion. 3rd and long.
Just another great play in pursuit by Aaron Acosta and Arthur Pinckney. Big play. 10:21 to go in the game. 3rd and 11 now for Dayton.
The backfield is empty. Ham scrambling around, stumbling, and put on the turf by Arrington and Rusher.
Great pursuit by Rusher and Arrington on the sack. We've got a player down for the Foxes.
That's Miles Cowderer who lost his lid. The Marist athletic training staff out attending to Cowderer. We'll step aside. Dayton facing 4th down. 10:06 to go in the 4th quarter.
Welcome back to Tenney Stadium. Arrington and Rusher with just great pursuit on Ham for the sack. 4th down and long now. 4th down and 15 for Dayton.
4th sack of the game for the Marist defense. They are standing on their head as Clay Fields makes a risky play to run up and grab that football in traffic, ensuring great field position for the Marist offense. Oh, what a gutsy play by Fields.
That was a gutsy play. Here it is again. We're taking a second look at it. Just right at the 30-yard line, and was able to turn it upfield for about 12 yards. Just a nice effort there by Clay Fields. 1st and 10 now for the Foxes on their own 41-yard line.
If you're Clay Fields and you get that wrong, it is a disaster.
Yes.
But Fields makes the play, and now Diego Arroyo is back to work on offense. High snap. Arroyo gives it to Amin Woods, and Woods doesn't have a lot of running room. He's tackled by Nathan Arthur after a gain of 3.
Yeah, the run game just has not been there for the Foxes. Just 44 yards on the ground this afternoon by Marist.
Yeah, both of these defenses playing an excellent football game. Neither team has eclipsed 200 yards, and we're nearing the halfway point of the 4th quarter. There was some movement up front. Marist saying Dayton jumped across, and that will indeed be the call. So 5 yards for the Foxes, a rare miscue by a Dayton defensive line that's been very good today.
Dayton defensive line has just been super, but they did jump into the neutral zone there. Offside, 5-yard penalty. Be 2nd down and 2 now for the Foxes.
See how that changes the calculus following the offsides flag on Shattuck. Arroyo to the air. And that pass was to no one in particular. Scherzer got bumped in coverage. And Arroyo just was locked on to that option. Brings up 3rd down.
Yeah, that was not where the ball needed to go. That was really good coverage in the secondary by Dayton. Critical 3rd down play now for Marist. 3rd and 2 now on their own 49-yard line.
Here's Amin Woods. Woods has the 1st down into Dayton territory. Hildebrand stands him up at the 45-yard line. A 6-yard gain for Amin Woods as Marist keeps the drive alive.
That's just a great effort there by Amin Woods. That's a physical run. We're going to take another look at it here. Just a big play on 1st down. You see Woods, just a physical run. Big first down for the Foxes.
Marist with wind at their back. Play action. Arroyo loading up. The deep shot. It's incomplete, but the flags are out. Looked like a lot of the jersey there. The intended target was Scherzer. One-on-one coverage with Guagenti. And I think Guagenti will be flagged for the hold.
Yeah, Scherzer was open. He broke free from the secondary. It is going to be pass interference on the Flyers.
From the previous spot, automatic first down.
See it again.
Here it is again on the replay. You see Arroyo back, and Scherzer was breaking free there. Yeah, obvious pass interference there. Marist now is in business after that 15-yard penalty on the Flyers.
And that was a costly one. Boy, as good as Guagenti has been in this ball game, a costly flag with 8:06 to go in the fourth. The give to Amin Woods, and Woods is swallowed up. Ben Schmeezing launching himself into the ball carrier. No gain for Woods.
Just a great play by Schmeezing right at the point of attack. No gain there on that first down run. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Foxes.
Schmeezing's been the leader of the Dayton defense all year long. The graduate student leads them in tackles today with 9. Started his career at Ohio State. He was a walk-on for the Buckeyes. This is his 2nd year at Dayton. Play action. Arroyo's got a target. The pass incomplete, intended for Landis. The two went up for the ball at the same time. And Landis, a little shaken up, as is the defender Hildebrand.
Here it is again. You see Arroyo on the RPO. It looked like Landis was going to be free there, but yes, they just collided there. Fortunately, Landis was able to pop back up. 3rd down and 10 now for Marist.
50-50 ball, both Hildebrand and Landis getting there at the same time. Big 3rd down snap. Good protection. Arroyo, end zone, incomplete. Off the fingertips of Trevor Sterry.
Boy, it was off the fingertips, just a little overthrown there. Here it is again on the replay. You see Sterry in the corner of the end zone. He got turned around a little bit, just off his fingertips. 4th and 10 for the Foxes.
Marist going for it. Foxes just 2 of 12 on 4th downs this year. Arroyo scrambling around under some serious duress. Makes a man miss. He's still under pressure, and he is sacked back at the 49-yard line. Nathan Arthur ending the play. Arroyo takes a big loss as Marist turns it over on downs.
You just cannot take the sack there outside of the pocket. Here it is again on the replay. Just no one open down the field, so Arroyo scrambling, and then he has to backpedal once again, but just takes the sack there. Now it's right at the 50-yard line. Dayton has the football, 1st and 10 with 6:59 remaining in the game.
First sack of the year for Nathan Arthur, and it's a big one. The senior from Cincinnati, a 21-yard loss. Dayton with a 10-point lead on the football in midfield. Hazel in motion. Dayton will run it with Neal. Neal's got the corner. Flag down as Fields gets Neal out of bounds after a gain of 14.
Yeah, that is in the area of holding. We'll see what the call is on the field.
Holding, offense number 87, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, it is in fact holding. It'll Back the Flyers up 10 yards.
It's on wide receiver Derek Willits. And Steve Neal is out for his second consecutive series of work. Jake Chisholm is on the sideline without his helmet. Did not see what might have happened to Chisholm, but it appears as though he is not eligible to enter this game. The give to Neal. Hesitation. Blasts into the second level. Nice gain for Neal as he's back into Marist territory at the 47-yard line. So a 7-yard gain. And that makes the third down situation, or excuse me, the second down play more manageable. Fox is starting to use their timeouts. They take their first of 3 and will break as well. 6:29 to go in the fourth quarter. Dayton 10, Marist nothing. Second and 7 for the Dayton Flyers. 6:29 to go in the fourth quarter. Chisholm back in the ball game and carrying the rock into the second level down to the 39-yard line. An 8-yard gain and a first down. Chisholm, who was on the sideline without his helmet prior to that last time out, back in there and making his presence felt.
Yeah, it was a great run by Chisholm. 9-yard gain there on second down. First down now, Dayton with the clock running. 6 minutes to go in the game.
Two tight ends right. That's Beam in motion. Ham gives it to Chisholm. He makes a man miss and then spins into a tackle at the 35-yard line. 4 more yards for Chisholm's total as he nears the century mark.
Yeah, Foxes burn their second timeout. They really don't have a choice. It's a two-score game here with 5:41 remaining. It'll be second down and 7 for the Flyers. Here it is again on the replay, the RPO action with Chisholm busting it outside. Was able to turn it downfield for that gain of 3. Foxes must have a stop here to have a chance. Just time is running out. 5:41 remaining.
The way Dayton has controlled this game on offense, the reason that they're ahead by 2 scores, they've kept everything manageable for first-time starter Shane Ham, and then they've used Jake Chisholm to perfection. Running between the tackles, on rare occasions have they tried to get him on the edge in space. They've wanted to control that clock, shorten the game, and they've done it effectively.
Yeah, that's exactly what they've done. Just this is a ball control offense. They did not put Ham in bad positions. He got the football out quickly all afternoon long. The Foxes really need a stop here. 5:43, second down and 7.
Really only once this afternoon has Ham tried anything deep down the field. It was the 39-yard touchdown to Luke Brenner. That was an underthrown ball into double coverage that Brenner just happened to come down with.
Yeah, that was. It was really a great effort by Brenner with the underthrown ball. He went up and got it for the touchdown for the Flyers.
Ham goes under center on second and 7. Keithley in motion. Now Brenner in motion. They'll give it to Brenner on the end around. He's got a big hole. A flag is out at the 30-yard line as the play is ended by Clay Fields at the 11. So a big gain for Brenner, but it's likely going to come back.
Yeah, I think it's going to be holding.
Holding. Offense
Yes,
number 87.
holding on,
10-yard penalty for
on
the spot of the
Dayton.
foul.
That will, in fact,
Repeat,
come
second
back.
down.
That's the second time they got wide receiver Derek Willits for the hold. Still second down. Now 11 yards to go. Chisholm stopped by Acosta and then finished off by Jack Impt. Impt has been giving Marist some good reps in the interior of their defensive line.
Yeah, nice job there by Acosta and Impt. Foxes burned their final timeout. It'll be 3rd down and 11 now, 5:13 remaining in the game.
The Marist defense, Steve, has come up with play after play to keep the Red Foxes in it, and they will be asked to do it once again.
Yeah, you just can't say enough about this Marist defense. They've been really, really good all game long. Chisholm has broken a couple, but they've really done a nice job on him overall, and this becomes the critical play of the game here with 5:13 remaining. Again, 3rd and 11 for the Flyers.
Dayton's had just 2 gains of over 20 yards in this game. The 39-yard touchdown to Brenner, and then Brenner on a 22-yard end around. Other than that, just about everything has been between the chains. Now credit to Dayton. They have managed the situations very well. Accumulated 14 first downs. But the Marist defense have stepped up more often than not, and they'll be asked to make another play here as Ham and Chisholm have a chance to really seize control of this football game. Marist out of timeouts. Chisholm in motion, 4 receivers left. Pressure up the middle. Ham eludes, Cowderer wraps up and brings him down for no gain. Impt with the initial heat. Cowderer put him on the turf. And what will Rick Chamberlain do?
Take a second look at it here. Miles Cowderer, he has been all over the field today, and just excellent pursuit there to get Ham on the turf.
Chamberlain will not try the long field goal with a steady wind in the face of the Flyers, so it's the punter Neiman on to try to pin Marist deep. Neiman's punt hangs up in the sky. It takes a bounce to the 17-yard line, where it's down by Will Cohen. So something of a wash there on the short punt that was batted down by the wind. Neiman was, of course, trying to pin Marist back in the shadow of their own goalpost. Instead, Diego Arroyo back to work at his own 17-yard line. Foxes need 2 scores, and they cannot stop the clock with a timeout. We've seen Brock Bogozzi twice this season engineer some key fourth-quarter drives. Does Arroyo have any magic? Not if the Dayton line has anything to say about it. Arroyo sacked on 1st and 10. Mason Henry in there along with Sam Shattuck.
That's a nice job there by Henry. Arroyo was not able to release the football. 2nd down and long.
And Arroyo's flush from the pocket again. Pass over the middle, tipped and incomplete. Joey Guagenti again getting a hand on it. The intended target, Matt Stianchi. And it's 3rd and 18.
Yeah, Guagenti, he has been all over the field for the Flyers this afternoon as well. 3rd and long now, 3rd and 18 for the Foxes.
After Diego Arroyo completed his first 2 passes of the game for 44 yards, he's gone 2 of 8 for 8 yards. Good pocket. Arroyo launches deep to no one in particular. No red jerseys in the area. It's 4th and long. With 3:40 on the clock, you figure Marist has to go for it.
Yeah, they certainly will go for it here without any timeouts. 4th and 18 now. What's in your playbook here? Jake Dembo, the offensive coordinator, what will he dial up here? 4th and long, 4th and 18, 3:40 remaining.
Trips left. Dayton rushes 3 and they get pressure. Arroyo spins away. He's still under duress and he is sacked. Jarrell Lewis makes the hit at the 2-yard line as Dayton will take over on the doorstep, looking to put Marist away.
Once again, just great pursuit by Dayton. See it here again on the replay. Arroyo's flushed out of the pocket, just is not able to get the football down the field. Dayton takes over on downs.
So once again, Steve, the defense gives the offense an opportunity, and a disastrous Marist drive that goes for negative 15 yards. Have Dayton looking for the clincher. It's Chisholm right up the gut and into the end zone. 16-0 Flyers.
Yeah, that will do it. Chisholm goes untouched into the end zone. 16-0 pending this PAT. Here it is again on the replay, the RPO action. You see Chisholm with the 2-yard touchdown run.
Chisholm's PFL leading 7th touchdown of the season. 4th on the ground, 3 in the air, and now Webster for the point after. It's right down the middle. 17-0 Flyers. 3:27 to go in the 4th quarter here at Tenney Stadium. And Marist is shell-shocked.
They are shell-shocked. Unfortunately, today, Jeff, the Marist offense just could not get it going. Again, kudos to the Marist defense. They played well all afternoon long, but unfortunately, Marist, hey, and you got to hand it to Dayton. Dayton defensively, they put a lot of pressure on Marist quarterbacks. They were very, very good in the secondary. That Marist really could not get anything down the field on this Dayton secondary today. So you have to hand it to Dayton as well. But Marist on the defensive side of the ball really overall played very well this afternoon.
As much as we talk about the the Dayton offense controlling the game, the defense done a really good job of that as well too. Never letting Glenmore Leonard Osborne get out in space. He's been a non-factor for Marist offensively. And in coverage, they've made life difficult for the Marist quarterbacks, Bagosi and Arroyo. Combined 15 of 27. Denning's kick will give Fields a chance at a return from the 4-yard line. And Fields can't break free of the first man through. He's tackled by Joe Kraft deep in his own end.
It's a nice job by Kraft and special teams running down the very elusive field, so the Foxes will be backed up again in their own territory.
No timeouts for Marist, now down by 3 scores. Arroyo stands in the pocket, fires over the middle, incomplete. He had Will Downs wide open. If Downs makes that reception, he's gone. But the pass was incomplete.
Yeah, Downs running the seam route. He was wide open, but Arroyo just overthrew him. He would have taken that to the house for a touchdown undoubtedly, but unfortunately Arroyo overthrew him.
Low snap. Arroyo slings it deep over the middle. It's intercepted. Cole Hildebrand makes the pick. Hildebrand returns it to the 32-yard line, tackled by Scott Scherzer. Second interception of the game for the Dayton Flyers secondary. They force turnover number 3, and that'll put a cap on this win in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, nice job there by Hildebrand. He read this play all the way. Looked like Arroyo was locked on his receiver there. Ball floated on him a little bit, but you see Hildebrand there pick it off. That will certainly do it. 3:04 remaining. The Foxes have no timeouts remaining.
Unsportsmanlike of the contest.
There was a penalty at the end of the play on the Red Foxes. And that sets Dayton up at the 17-yard line. Shane Ham in his first career start did all that he needed to do. 11 of 19 passing, 105 yards with the 39-yard touchdown. Effectively handed the ball off to Chisholm here, Michael Neal. Neal slicing up the middle for a nice gain. He's got a 7-yard pickup to the 10. And then Chisholm, 24 runs, 88 yards. He had the 2-yard touchdown plunge to make it a 3-score game. And all that's left to figure out is, will Dayton, the week after their 502-game streak of never being shut out comes to an end, pitch a shutout 7 days later? Marist hasn't been blanked since they lost 17-0 at Bucknell back on September 6, 2015. Ham to Neal. A big hole up the middle as Neal takes it down to the 1-yard line.
Nice running there by Neal in between the tackles, put his head down. They're knocking at the door once again.
Marist with no timeouts to stop the clock as we're inside 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
You just knew that Rick Chamberlain's team, Jeff, after being shut out last week, they were going to come in obviously ready to play, and it has really been an impressive performance by Dayton.
A lot of bodies left. Ham gives it to Neal. He lowers his shoulder, and he plunges into the end zone for another Dayton touchdown. First of the year for Michael Neal.
Going to take a second look at it here. You see Neal again on the RPO. Puts his head down, powers into the end zone for the Flyers.
So the senior's in for 6 more, and now it's Webster to add the PAT. Sends it right down the middle, 1:28 left, 24-0 Flyers. And you know, Steve, all the headlines, because of how many years it is.
Just outstanding all game long. A lot of pressure, whether it was Arroyo or Bagosi. They just didn't have receivers open down the field for the majority of the game, and just not much there. The running game really was non-existent. You just have to hand it to the defensive line of Dayton. Marist, their run game was just sputtered all afternoon long. Just 33 yards rushing for Marist. That really tells a lot of the tale today.
Yeah, it's impacted a little by the big sack number, right?
Yes.
Bagosi and Arroyo combining to lose 30 yards in sack distance. But even that, notwithstanding, you know, that's 60 some odd yards for the trio of running backs that the Red Foxes have put out there. Not usually going to get it done. See what Marist does with the final 80 seconds of this football game. Arroyo dancing out of the pocket, still feeling the heat. He loads up and throws the ball to no one in particular. And now some pushing and shoving on the Marist sideline. Flags are out, referee's got his hat off. Gerald Lewis one of the last men away from the play. He's still going after. Lewis is still pushing and shoving. The officials try to get control of this game.
Yeah, you just don't want to have anything happen late. You need to get control of it. There's only 1:09 remaining.
Sabati and crew trying to sort everything out. And Diego Arroyo, after the play, has gone to the bench to receive attention from the Marist athletic training staff. Arroyo slamming his helmet to the turf in disgust.
Yeah, we were really blocked out on the play. It may have been a late hit. Again, we
there
just
are 2
couldn't,
fouls on the play.
We just couldn't make it
Personal
out.
foul, roughing the passer, number 74 of the offense. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 83 of the offense. The 15 yards will be enforced from the previous spot. The dead ball will be enforced from the succeeding spot. We end up back at 1st and 10 Marist at the previous spot.
So the penalty is essentially offset, even though both are enforced. A 15-yard roughing the passer foul on Sam Shattuck. And then after you move it 15 yards down the field, they'll move it 15 yards back following the unsportsmanlike on Max Mazzella. So Rob Sabati doing the theater of actually walking the football 15 yards down the field to then return it 15 yards back the other way. And it's 1st and 10 from the 33. With Diego Arroyo shaken up, Brock Bogozzi is back into the game. Bogozzi's pass caught by Scherzer at the 41-yard line. He's shoved out of bounds by Alex Hirschfeld after picking up 10 yards and a first down. Clock stops as the chains move. And Marist has taken Bogozzi out of the game to bring in Logan Brabham for his second career series. The lefty Brabham is flush to the far numbers. Throws on the run incomplete. Brabham debuted for the final series in Marist season opener against Georgetown. This is the second time that he's been on the field in his career. Brabham's pass over the middle, caught by Downs at the 25-yard line. Makes a man miss as he gets down to the 18.
A nice throw there by Brabham, right on the money there. Foxes with 48 seconds remaining are going to go quick.
Brabham rushing him up to the line. Can Marist end the shutout? Brabham, pass to the doorstep. Did Lombana bring it in? Yes, he did. Complete to Lombana down at the 1-yard line.
That was a great catch by Lombana. He laid out there. Just a really, really good individual effort. Clock moving now.
So Brabham with a couple of strikes. Tristan Shannon is the tailback. Marist trying to score for the first time. They give it to Shannon, and Shannon punches it in. Marist won't be shut out today as Tristan Shannon scores for the first time in his career.
Nice job there by Shannon with a powerful run. Was able to get it into the end zone for the Foxes. 24-6 pending the PAT with 18 seconds remaining. Here it is again on the replay. Again, it's the RPO action. Shannon up the middle for the touchdown for the Foxes.
So after all the back and forth with Bogozzi and Arroyo, it's Logan Brabham in 4 snaps of the football that lead Marist to their first points of the game. Palladino tacks on the PAT. It makes the score 24-7 with 18 ticks remaining.
Hey, you don't want to get shut out, especially on your home field, so it's good for the Foxes to get that touchdown. Marist has to figure it out at home. You know, they're 0-4 now here at Tenney Stadium, 2-0 on the road, and there's still a lot of football left in the PFL with a logjam of teams with one loss. Now Marist, of course, is going to go to 2 losses after today, but Marist, for whatever reason, has just not been able to get it done thus far at home.
And Steve, I think it'll be very interesting to see what Jim Parity does with his quarterbacks going on the road at Butler next week.
It will be. Sure, they're going to see what happens, a full week of practice, but you know, the quarterback play needs to improve for sure. I mean, Bogozzi last week against Stetson, he was very, very good and has been very, very good at times. Arroyo started his first couple of passes today, were right on the money, but he took some sacks that you just can't take, you know, at the stage of the game where he took them. So, yeah, it will be a question mark for sure who will be the starter at quarterback when Marist travels to Butler next Saturday.
In the first 5 games of the season, every time Arroyo would come in for Bogozzi, it felt like it was part of a quarterback rotation.
Yes.
With Jim Parity telling us he felt like he has a 1A and a 1B at the position. This was the first time where it seemed like a quarterback change was made. Brock Bogozzi taken out of the game after turning the ball over for the second time. And then Arroyo essentially playing every critical snap thereafter. Bogozzi had to come in for 1 4th down play after Arroyo lost his helmet, and then Logan Brabham led the team down the field for that Tristan Shannon touchdown.
Yeah, Brabham looked really good, made a couple of nice throws, and fortunately for the Foxes, they were able to punch it in and score a touchdown late.
The Flyers will enter victory formation in Poughkeepsie. Shane Ham, who went 50-3 as a starting quarterback in Archbishop Holban, is now 1-0 in college. Ham gets the win, so do the Flyers. They defeat the Marist Red Foxes 24-7.
Again, you just can't say enough about Ham. He was really, really good in his first collegiate start. I thought he managed the game very, very well, but you just can't say enough about this Dayton defense, Jeff. They were outstanding all afternoon long.
Holding the Red Foxes to just 160 yards of offense while forcing 3 turnovers. That's all from here at Tenney Stadium. Again, the final score, Dayton 24, Marist 7. We remind you that all games airing on the ESPN family of networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. For my broadcast partner, Steve Egging, our executive producer, Nick Skidmore, technical producer, Mark Phillips, and our entire ESPN3 crew, my name is Jeff Brault, saying so long from Poughkeepsie, the Queen City on the Hudson. This has been a presentation of ESPN.